Here we are again, happy as can be. It's the new microphone again. Let's try it outside. A little note, just walking down the road. Something I haven't seen before. We shall have to inquire. There's a marking on a tree. I don't know what it means. Let's have a look. See it there? No idea. Tree looks healthy enough. I don't know. It's marked out for something. Somebody's trail, perhaps. Who knows? Anyway. Then you start looking further, don't you? And even though we've been down here before, look at that overhang there. And this one, that's a significant overhang. What's keeping that tree there? Goodwill, I'd suspect. Anyway, here we go. It's been a little bit busy lately. There's some news for you. The current show with Pretty Portal is going well. I know I keep going on about it, but perhaps that's why you're here. It's still very difficult being without Colleen. I know it's only been 4 months, so I suppose I shouldn't expect anything different, but it is hard. She clearly knew me too well when she said specifically to me and to my friends about me not becoming a hermit after she was gone. And I must admit, it would be very easy to disappear into solitude. But I promised Colleen, I've promised the family, and I've promised friends that I wouldn't do that. There's some news on the exhibition front. Let me think what's going on. News. I'm working on a little piece for Laurent Regail. Laurent used to be one half of Bruges Regail in Paris. They were the first Paris gallery to show my work a long time ago. So I'm working on something for him at the moment. What else is going on? Oh, yeah, the show in Germany. Yeah, one of the pieces at the Pretty Portal show, The Idea of Her, caught the attention of another gallery. And they've offered me some wall space in a joint show that's coming up in the autumn. And that's on the planet Denmark. Never had an exhibition in Denmark before, so that's new. None of these things you can plan for. Like I say, it's all circumstance and luck. the picture that they saw, or the picture that the gallerist saw, was one of my portraits of Colleen. And it was the one that meant the most to me. It was the one that was the most personal to me. And it was that the gallerist noticed. And that was why they got in touch. So, in my head, being human, and we always want to find connections and significance, we like signs, don't we? I look on that as being the idea of her, the idea of Colleen still looking after me. So I'm making more work in a related vein, and not because that's what the gallerist liked, but because it's a subject I still want to pursue. It's not even want to, I think I've got to. You know, I may have mentioned it on here before, I don't know. But I do all kinds of work on all manner of subjects. My work covers a pretty broad list of subject areas. I know I often get roped into that kind of political artist shtick, but I make work that's not political. Not overtly political in terms of subject matter. It's not railing against some injustice or supporting some section of the world's community that needs support. And I make that work because it's important to me. These things that I read about, hear about, see on the news, investigate further. Perhaps it's a sense of trying to spread the information wider, you know. Drop a title that might refer to some specific person or space or event that someone might Google or stick in Wikipedia or whatever. Google's become a verb, hasn't it? Jesus Christ. Search online. They will not take me. I don't know. Anyway, that work means something to me. It always has done, you know that. You know, I don't, what's the sign? I've been accused of it. Denning your virtue signaling. Right. Fuck off. No, I do these things because they do mean something to me. I think I do them for myself. It's for me to just express to myself something about how I feel about these times that we live in. Anyway, that's a favourite word on here, isn't it? Anyway. Perhaps we should call it the Anyway Man with a phone on a stick. What are you doing, dog? Anyway. I don't know. One of the things that used to make me laugh. Colleen was not a big fan of Morrissey. She used to like the Smiths. But I think Morrissey did for that, his later verbal outpourings, to the point where if ever a Morrissey song or Smith's song came on television, radio, or anything, she would start counting down. Counting down until the word I or me came up in the lyrics. She would say, is there any song that he said, is there any song of Morrissey that's not about him? Overtly, lyrically. I don't know. So, or perhaps Anyway is my Morrissey me. On we go. What were we talking about? Oh, yes. Colleen. The spirit and the idea of Colleen looking after me. Signs. Well, that's the story I want to tell about it. So, I'll give you more news. Oh, yes, I know what I was saying. Yes. Yes, I made this political work because it was important to me. And I felt it deeply inside. I think this is one of my favourite possible little laneways to walk down. See, locally, it's the quietest. It's where I'm least likely to bump into anyone, which, like I said, suits me at the moment. Anyway, back to the conversation. No, back to the monologue. Yeah, the work I've always been known for making that touches on all manner of subjects: politics, gender, sexuality, mental health, all the rest of it. Yes, they are important to me, which is why I make that work. And it is made from the heart. And it is made with the intention of making work that's honest. But somehow this exhibition about Colleen, or about the idea of Colleen, certainly on a personal level, I think it's the best set of work I've made. It's certainly the set of work that I felt most obsessively insistent about making sure that everything was organized and sorted and tight, and I think it's my best work. Perhaps that is because it's so personal. So I will continue the subject matter in its variations and avenues it takes. I'll be honest, I think all the work that I do, certainly for the immediate and foreseeable future, will be about the loss of Colleen and the 30 odd years we had together. How can it not? That's what art's about, isn't it? I don't know. Cliches of artists and art, I don't know. What's it all about? Remember when I started off this amble around the bramble, and I said at its core, at its absolute base, I think art is about storytelling. So this is the story that's important to me. So yeah, it's going to continue in various ways. I think the work that's commissioned or driven by other issues. I think those are going to become outliers in the future. You know, I do look at political work and I think my political work, and I think my preaching to the choir, I think that's all you can do, isn't it? Particularly in these days of such polarized, soundbite driven pseudo politics, because it's not real politics, it's play politics. Anyway, there's that word again. So I've got a couple of pieces in mixed shows in autumn. One in France, one in Denmark, which I will punt out on the old Substack, as I do. Other things to note. A couple of people out there have agreed to chunk up to the Substack subscription thing on here, which I haven't engaged yet. I haven't switched it on. I'm a bit wary of switching it on because I feel that I'm like committed to being far more regular than I am. Whose wheel was that? I have a friend who could probably identify the car and the year from that wheel, that piece of metal. Ah, yes, that was the 1964 Citroën 2 Cheveux. Who knows? Anyway, he knows who he is. Yes, declare yourself here if you're happy to be identified. Anyway, yeah, a couple of people have signed up to the subscription thing on Substack, which, if I turn it on, means that I get a little payment every month. I haven't switched it on yet, like I said, because I think I might feel obliged to start making transmissions for the sake of making transmissions, as opposed to making transmissions when I think there's something to say. Not that I've ever been reticent about talking my arse off. So thank you to those that have done that. It is noted, and the time may come when I do switch it on. Someone's playing in the brambles, so the time may come when I do switch it on, but obviously I will notify everybody accordingly if that's what happens. So thanks for that support. There's one or two of you that comment in here. Feel free, all of you, if you want to comment, let's comment on air. I'm happy to talk about anything you want to talk about, really, even if it's just in the messages down there. Isn't that where they are? Down there? I don't know. This also gets chunked over automatically to the Planet YouTube. So again, I don't get many comments on YouTube. I've got an audience. Well, I've got an audience that might fill a bus. So I'm I'm viral in the sense of a light head cold. Nothing too serious. What was I saying? Where did I get to? Yes. I will continue with this work in this frame. Yes, because I think I know it's important to me. So that's why I'm making it, because it's important to me. It's about connections with an individual, and connections are important. The show, yes, the ongoing idea of her show at Pretty Portal. Klaus, the gallerist, he knows what he's doing. He's been there for a decade, so he clearly knows what he's doing in terms of running a gallery, which, if you're not blessed with endless supplies of support funds, isn't always the instant route to riches that many people may consider it to be. But I must say, Klaus has done a superb job in presenting this work. There was more work sent than is on the wall, and he edited it and arranged it and put it together after we had lots of conversations. I mean, he asked me, to help put it on the wall, to help arrange the work. And I said, no, that's your job. You know what you're doing with presenting work in your gallery. You know the space, you know how people walk around the space, how they look at the work. So I left that to him. And he did a wonderful job. There are a few positionings in there that he explained to me. When I looked at it, I thought, that's perfect. Yes, that's the way that should be done. The show is on until the end of April. If you want to catch up with it, pop along. All right? So, I'm going to go now. There's someone coming. So, look after yourself. Look after those around you, and ta-ta for now.